So we begin the first of what probably will be a series of hopefully all the Dungeons & Dragons giants. Today we are painting up Reaper Bones Stone Giant, and it's a very nice miniature. And we're beginning with a heavy coat of, this is a mix of Vallejo Model Color German Gray mixed with Vallejo Model Color Camo Black Brown. And I'm trying for a warm gray scheme to the flesh, so we're going to be adding a lot of brown and using warm colors mixed in with the gray throughout. Next, we add some Vallejo Model Color Dark Sea Grey into the mix, the previous mix, and using a fairly wide brush and dry brushing that all over the miniature. And this is a time-saving step, dry brushing some of the earlier steps, and then we can smooth that out by use of layering once we start moving up into the higher highlights. Next, I am taking almost the same color that we just used for the dry brushing, just maybe a little bit more of the dark sea gray added, and now we're layering, starting the first steps of layering on the highlights. And this is a good example of how colors can change depending on the method of through which they are applied. You can take the same color and layer it or dry brush it or put it through an airbrush, and the intensity of the colors changes based on delivery method. Paints that are layered or just straight painted on tend to be more intense, thicker than dry brushing or airbrushing. So you can get actually different effects with the exact same color. Again, more dark sea gray added to the mix, and we continue to work up into the higher highlights. The chest is a good example here, working on higher areas of the chest and on smaller areas until we eventually get to that final highlight, which in this case is going to be a few steps down the road. To the previous mix, I've now added some Vallejo Model Color Beige and continuing on with the highlighting process. Remember, I said I wanted a warm gray, and that's why we're going with the slightly brown tinted beige rather than if we were going for a cold gray, I could be adding a very, very light blue right now, or even maybe white, but I thought the warm colors would work better for a flesh tone. And for the final highlight, we simply add more of the beige color into that previous mix once again. When you're highlighting, I don't know if everyone has this problem, but it is an issue that I sometimes have to fight myself, is where I start concentrating on just too few areas of the miniature. On this particular miniature, I was adding a lot of the highlights to just the chest and the face. I was adding the highlights everywhere, but I was putting a lot of emphasis on the chest and the face and kind of forgot some other areas, like, you know, I'm painting the front of the head, I need to paint the sides of the head too. I guess tunnel vision would be the best description for that. Perhaps not everyone has that problem, but just remember to keep turning the miniature and examining all those curves, all those areas that need highlights, so you don't accidentally skip one, because if you skip something at step 3, by the time you get to step 5, it's going to be hard to go back and fix it. Now let's move on to his furry shorts. There's a couple different ways to paint fur. One is just dry brush all of it, which works very well because it is a very textured material. Or you can also paint it all with washes, which is what we're going to try today. Started off by base coating the entire fur area with Vallejo Model Color Buff, and now I am applying a paint wash of Vallejo Model Color Orange Brown, and this is just to add a little bit of more interesting color to it because we're going to be just applying regular browns to it from here on out. Next, we apply a fairly thin wash of Vallejo Game Color Sepia ink, and during this you'll see that I'll be concentrating towards the belt areas, the more recessed areas of the fur, so each subsequent wash will be moving up further. Once the wash is completely dry, we repeat the process, but this time using a thicker mixture of sepia ink, and also we're concentrating more towards the upper areas of his furry shorts. And then for the final wash, a mix of sepia and black inks. This is applied just around the belt areas and also to better define all the little tools and bits he has hanging around the fur. So each subsequent wash layer we darken slightly, which in turn darkens the area that we previously darkened, so we slowly build up to a darker color. After all this was dry, I did go back and just do a little bit of dry brushing on the edges, the bottom edges of the shorts, and then we're done. For his wood club, starting off with my standard wood and leather mixture, which is a base coat of Vallejo Model Color Camo Black Brown, and over that we are dry brushing Vallejo Model Color Flat Earth. And then we follow that up with a dry brush of Vallejo Model Color Yellow Ochre. A wash mix of black and brown inks helped to bring out all the runes on the club, and after this was dry, I did go back and give it a light glaze of brown ink, the entire club, just to add a bit more depth and color to it. For the leather bits, starting off with Vallejo Model Color Flat Earth, same color that we used on the wood, but it's going to look quite different in this case. Then we highlight the flat earth by using some Vallejo Game Color Plague Brown. And then final highlight color, Plague Brown, mixed with a little bit of Vallejo Model Color Pale Sand. I over-highlighted the leather slightly because I was planning on putting a fairly heavy wash over it, which is what we're doing now. This is a wash of Vallejo Game Color Sepia ink, and I'm trying to apply it sort of in a modeled fashion, more of a stippling fashion rather than just a straight wash. The idea is to hopefully make the leather more interesting, look more worn, not just a smooth uniform color all over. So a little thicker in some places, a little lighter, you know, make it blotchy and hopefully more realistic. And just a few other odds and ends painted, and our stone giant is done. One more miniature down and ready to pummel your player characters. Again, this series is supposed to be very quick builds, fairly simple things to do, emphasizing the speed techniques, speed painting techniques to some degree. Doing the washes, we used a lot of washes on this one. Modeled washes for the leather, washes for the fur, which do take a bit of time to dry, but it is a quick way to paint fur. Dry brushing in like this case might have been a little bit difficult without getting it on the skin, but this was only a couple hours to paint and nothing too complex. I think everyone should be able to follow along at home. And there you go, we are done, and hopefully we'll see some more giants in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.